we are ending the series with the final piece of the puzzle. This WOOAUDIO WA33 Elite JPS version with the best tubes of the industry for this specific unit. A Class A push-pull design in the 2A3 category. We have reviewed the AIC10 Riviera, a hybrid design, the RedOctober 300B, Cayin HA300 Mark II 300B, Envi from Feliks Audio 300B. This is slightly different. Also, not to forget the Viva 845. So we seem to have covered all of the power tube preferences at this category. All of these tube amplifiers will be going head to head in a full sonic characteristics only shootout in the final conclusion of the series. But let's swing back around to this. Hi, I'm Koji CO. Welcome to ConvinceMeAudio and welcome back to our regular viewers. Here at CMA, we try and push the limits of the hi-fi category where headphones and IEMs are concerned, pushing the limits of the industry to rival as close as we can to the two-channel world. A channel that predominantly concentrates on the flagship, to the super flagship, to the unobtainable insanity, to see where the industry is of the current moment in time. Right now, we are in 2024. Let's begin. The WOOAUDIO33 Elite JPS version will set you back 16.5K in US dollars. The tube amplifiers of this category are not many. They are all of the ones we mentioned in the beginning of the video. This is an amplifier that will last a lifetime. With that, Jez, thank you so much for lending me this and your RedOctober for the comparisons in the review. I really do appreciate it. Before diving into the sound characteristics of this unit, let's talk about the chain that drove this amplifier and the others. So we have been using the Wavedream signature DAC to push all of these units, and at the latter part of the reviews we have used the Odeon Audio Absolute Epsilon DAC with their time alignment clock as the digital to analog conversion. We have used obviously some of the best interconnects of the industry. For some of these setups, I just borrowed a pair of the $50,000 insanities. It kind of made me giggle. Cables from G-Point. Greg, thank you so much for providing the USB cables and interconnects, etc. We will do a review in regards to cables and open that can of worms to showcase how much cables make a difference. That's going to be so much fun. There are the unbelievers, there are the believers, and there are everybody in between. But we have put this video together with 2 years of testing, sonic testing, but let's get back to this tube amplifier review. Without a doubt, this is the best built tube amplifier of the industry. The most ergonomic, well-designed, well-thought-out unit I have come across, and I do include AIC10 Riviera in that aspect as well. I think if there is a difference in regards to build quality, it'd probably be 1 or 2%. And I would probably pick the inside of this versus that. Outside, they're on point and on par. Let's do a quick tour. I will have to reach over and give it the reach around because this is 27 kilograms and it will break my table to move it around. So we're going to B-roll and switch to this camera for the best viewing experience. The most tactile, clicky, expensive feeling switches I have ever come across. Headphone amplifier and pre, high-low-Z, an Alps pot that is the best I have ever come across, reminding me very much of the HDVD 800 of the yesteryear from Sennheiser, but probably 100 times better. High-low gain and the input selection. These switches are sublime. The pot is perfect. Underneath, we have a pair of 3-pin XLRs for dual mono wiring for those headphone connections if you prefer it, 4-pin XLR or 6.3. A very nice tactile clicky power button. Rotating the unit around, we have a pair of, I think they're using Carter's XLRs. These are insane. A pair of inputs, one pair of RCA input. This is a fully Class A push-pull design, end-to-end balanced tube amplifier. And a pair of XLRs for your pre-outs. Underneath, where the second part of the chassis is, we have the AC power supply and a rotating adjustable voltage, I believe, in the middle. This unit is separated in two components, but you can't separate them. The unit itself is stuck together and wiring goes through the feet inside to connect the board of the tube platter to the power supply underneath. It's a very ergonomic, beautiful design, matte finish, and I think camera just doesn't do it justice. Up top, we have the most expensive tube roll-in aspect of this unit, which is insane. Everything has to be run in quads due to the balanced nature of this. We have we have two pairs of power tubes at the back. These are 2A3s, full tubes, upgraded tubes from Jez down the screen here. $6,500, these will set you back. Rectifier is the 5URG, I believe, and up front is the driver tube, a quad set again of the 6C45 variety. A very, very expensive tube rolling amplifier to be sure. This is the summit tier of summit tiers from WOOAUDIO. This is definitely going up against the other boys. Ergonomic, well designed, well constructed, well-feeling, heavy, every aspect of it's thought out carefully, incredible wiring internally. Hardware, 5 Tigers out of 5, absolutely no complaints. You're getting your money's worth. Every dollar's worth. Happy days. Let's talk about the characteristics of this amplifier before we jump to the sound. This tube amplifier is a solid-state sounding tube amplifier. In fact, I am pretty sure if you were to tell somebody and hide it behind a screen, just listen to this and tell me if you think it's tubes or solid state, I think most people would say that is the best solid state sounding amplifier I have ever heard. But isn't it amazing? It's got tube characteristics. It's the most resolving tube amplifier I've ever come across, period. There's no competition. It's the most technical, apart from one small section where I think AIC10 Riviera might take it, and apart from one other section that I think it's different sounding, not better, on RedOctober, which we will discuss in the comparison section, this might be the most technical Class A push-pull design I have ever come across in the tube space. It details like a solid state. It's quick like a solid state. It has the enormous, absolutely enormous stage of a tube amplifier of the best caliber. This amplifier has the biggest stage with its counterpart, the RedOctober, of the industry. It's the most dead silent tube amplifier you're going to find, from IEMs to very hard to drive headphones. It goes up to 600 ohms. I think there is about 10 watts of power on tap for 32 ohm headphones. You can drive anything with it as long as you drive it with a very good DAC, and here we have used the Odeon Absolute, Epsilon and the Wavedream Signature. There are some of you who are very hesitant about tube noise and about speed and resolution of tubes because you love your solid state so much. This is the tube amplifier for you. This is the tube amplifier that will change your mind. This will detail like your solid state, but better. This will stage better than any solid state amplifier I have ever heard. It's dead silent operation from IEMs to headphones. Absolutely dead silent. I don't know how they've managed it. I just have never come across it, not even on AIC10 Riviera. It's utterly black where noise floor is concerned. Like I stated, the only indicator showing you this is a tube amplifier is the freaking heat coming off it and the tubes. What does it sound like? It's a cross between Sale HM1, AHB2 and Head Trip 3 Level 2 sounding amplifier. This does not sound like Hollow Olo Bliss. This does not sound like Or. This is a reference sounding amp. It's an accurate sounding amp. In fact, I am genuinely considering pushing HM1 out and keeping this because it can do the same freaking job. That's how accurate and resolving and quick it is. Though I think HM1 controls drivers better for Susvaras and other headphones. I've never seen anything else like that unit, to be honest with you, and that's the only aspect, and obviously the heat as well. This solid state sounding tube amplifier is unlike any of the others on the market. It's very unique sounding. So let's talk about the chain. How did we run this unit before we talk about the sound characteristics? That is, we use the Wavedream signature, the channel reference DAC. We use the Odeon Absolute Epsilon and the time alignment clock and all of the crazy cables. There's a pair of $50,000 interconnects over there that is just makes me giggle. Honestly, some people have just too much money. Hifiman Susvaras, Hifiman Susvara Unveiled, Utopia, Valkaryia, the ZMF lineup, Caldera, Verite Open, Atrium, Utopia 2022, Abyss Diana DZ, Abyss Diana MR. All of these headphones have been tested on this, and all of the other headphones you see scrolling down the screen. I have run every headphone in the office here. We've used Audiovana as the source, and obviously crossing all genres, classical, EDM, metal, jazz, yada yada yada, to cover all bases. So with that, let's jump to the sound. I mentioned briefly that this has the biggest stage, the biggest depth, the biggest separation between elements of sound, the tallest stage of any tube amplifier except its counterpart, the yin to its yang, the amp and sound RedOctober. These two amps are almost identical in their stage presentation, though I think this one might change dynamics of stage a little bit better. RedOctober might be a little bit more out there and laid back. This can come up close when it needs to, but it has an enormous stage. It's absolutely mammoth. What is incredible about it is the fact that it retrieves detail, resolves extraordinarily well, so well that you do not miss your solid state, and it's quick enough that you don't miss it for electronic music. This, for anybody who loves electronic music and is shy in regards to tube amplifiers because of this, because of their slow nature, this or AIC10 Riviera will change your mind. I think AIC10 Riviera, the way I'll jump in a little bit to the comparison section, is a bit more weighty and honestly viscerally more impactful in the sub-bass category, not in mid-bass. Though the stage of that unit is laughable compared to the 33 Elite. Like laughable, it's not even on the same playing field. AIC10 Riviera has enormous instruments, which is wonderful, but it's very intimate, it's very clustered, it's very, very compressed in such a way that some people might find it a bit overwhelming. It's too much in your face. This is not. This is highly dynamic. Okay, stage 5 tigers out of 5. Detail retrieval 5 tigers out of 5. Organic characteristics depending on your DAC is very lifelike. It very much gets out of the way of the music and gives you the excitement, the visceral impact, the textural information that your DAC can provide, that your headphones can redistribute and re-amplify. Vocals can come forward and back. They're very, very present. Instruments are very, very present. You can see every element of sound in the air. You can see perfect layering, and it's not bound to any genre. You can listen to rock on this, metal on this, though to be fair, metal and rock, I think that's where RedOctober does take the lead. But if you like the reference sound, you can run any genre of music, including electronic music on this. It's extraordinarily quick for that. In fact, a lot of people love running this with 1266 TC, Susvara Unveiled, Utopia 2022, the Headphone 2, the Diana DZ, the Diana MR. All of these reviews will be coming if they're not already out. They've been tested with all of these units here. Tungsten DS, it drives everything. It's got 10 watts of power on tap at 32 ohms. This unit, if we're doing a comparison section, let's jump in right now, sits at the other end of the spectrum where AIC10 RedOctober and Envi sit. WA33 Elite is on the right, RedOctober is on the left, AIC10 is in the middle. Cayin HA300 Mark II sits between RedOctober and AIC10. Yes, it does. And this sits between AIC10 and itself. I've not seen any other amp that sounds like this in the tube domain. It's very, very unique. I mean, ideally, in a perfect world, you'd own this and RedOctober and call it a day. In fact, and incidentally, incidentally, this is what Jez has been running for a few years now. The perfect balance. They are the perfect counterbalance to each other. Where this is intense, that is laid back. Where this is solid state sounding, that is tube sounding. Where that's extremely organic and lush, like the Orpheus HE1 with Sennheiser and Wavedream Signature. This is more like Wavedream Signature and Odeon on sale HM1, but with tube characteristics. I think you're getting the best of all worlds. It drives every headphone perfectly, including IEMs. This is an end game of all end game tube amplifiers. So let's break down the frequency response and the performance with a track. Today, we're going to be using a couple of tracks from GoGo Penguin. The artist will be dinked and linked down below. Pianos, electric guitars, drums. If you want a rich, realistic, euphonic, romantic sound, you pick RedOctober. If you want incisiveness, detail retrieval, though very organic, obviously don't get me wrong, but more leaning towards what the studio intended in a reference sound where the amp is not supposed to add anything, you choose this. And if you want a touch of both, you choose AIC10 Riviera, because that sits bang in the middle of this. And in fact, Jez actually is pushing both of these units out and picking up AIC10 Riviera because it's the perfect counterbalance of both. You don't need two amplifiers with that unit. With this, I think some people might want the lush aspect of things. Due to the fact the way you tube roll this and the sound characteristics of the WA33, some people might want like a Cayin alongside, or Envi Anniversary, or RedOctober. Where romanticism is RedOctober's forte, technicality and reference is this amplifiers. It's the most unique sounding amp, and I don't know how many times I've repeated that already. Versus AIC10 Riviera, I say this is where that visceral impact and sub bass, the intensity takes even over this. That amp is like a freaking attack from a tiger's paw. It's heavy, weighty, tonally dense, and so viscerally impactful, it's breathtaking. But if you're listening to real music, I think this is more technical. It's more detailed, has better stage, has better layering, has a bigger sound, and is just as tonally dense in the mid bass. It's sub bass where AIC10 Riviera with a G37R, I think that tube is in there if I remember correctly, is beast mode. Absolute beast mode. But I do personally prefer Lampezator with it. I don't like Wavedream Signature. With this, you can have Lampezator to make it a little bit more lush, or you can run Wavedream Signature to give it a proper visceral technicality and incisiveness and detail. Or if money's no expense, you go for Odeon Audio Epsilon Absolute. So what are the caveats of this amplifier? Well, there are three. One, it requires a tremendous amount of time to warm up. This amplifier sounds very good after about an hour and a half, 2 hours. But after 6 hours, I know, 6 hours, it's 30% better. And it's so good, so memorable, so enthrallingly large where a stage is concerned, so well layered at that point of the warm-up, you will never forget it. And every time you listen 1 hour in, you just get annoyed a little bit because you know where the amp can go. I mean, if you do like long listening sessions, you know it's just going to get better and better and better. But I've never seen anything like it. I've clocked this amplifier in almost to the minute where this amplifier genuinely opens up at 6 hours to its best of its capability, and it's night and day. It's breathtaking. Second caveat is obviously the heat. This is the hottest tube amplifier Class A I've ever come across. The heat is palpable. It comes off it in waves, and in a 30-degree summer weather, even in London, my AC has been running 24/7. And obviously with the AC on, noise floor of environment increases. With open back headphones, you lose dynamic range, you just lose everything. So you're paying for the last 10% or 5% in this category, and you lose that with AC on in the background. So bear that in mind, please, if you're in a hot climate. It's very hot. I've been kind of lucky, touchwood, up to now. This summer's not been too bad, so I've had a very good time with this. I've compared it with the Envi RedOctober AIC10, Cayin HA300 Mark IIs, and sometimes all of them on the desk at the same time. It's been a very fortunate few months thanks to you guys. It's a fully balanced tube amplifier. You will have to run everything in quads. It's one of the most expensive tube rolling amplifiers on the market, period. Like I stated, 6.5 grand for these tubes in this unit. Full name and list scrolling down the screen now, this amplifier will set you back $22,000 to $24,000 from the baseline 16 if you're tube rolling, and that's insane. You will have to, if one power tube dies, you're going to be forced to buy the entire lot again together. Only your wallet can see if you can sustain such a thing. Conclusion. Should you buy this tube amplifier when AIC10 Riviera and RedOctober and Envi Anniversary exists? Yes, because it's the most technical out of all of them. It's the most reference sounding out of all of them, if you want that kind of thing. It's the most solid state sounding out of all of them. And it's for those people who have never heard a tube amplifier or are too just worried about making that switch because of the degradation of detail, etc. This is one where it would utterly change your mind. I do highly recommend checking this out at a show or the CMA Hi-Fi show. The next one will be coming along shortly at some point in London. It's going to be much bigger than the last one. The last one, honestly, was huge. I think we put together 400K worth of equipment in the summit tier category. It was breathtaking that day, but we will have to hold it, not in the CMA office next time. Too many people, and I think it's going to have to be somewhere much bigger. In conclusion, if your wallet can sustain this, this is the best of the best. This is honestly, having spent such a long time with it, I wouldn't be able to decide between this and AIC10 Riviera, and I think I would take it over Riviera because of the stage. The only aspect I would take a AIC10 or Riviera over this is probably, I like the thin profile of the AIC10 Riviera. It's my subjective baby, but so is this. And it's a cooler running amp. You can run it anytime, anywhere, and you can run it for hours at a time versus this. The environment will play a role. But honestly, I think this is better built than that. And that is built probably the best in the industry. It's kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts. These two amps, even RedOctober, to be fair, that thing is so heavy and dense, it has its own gravitational pull. You can't go wrong with these amps, and Envi Anniversary is utterly gorgeous. So whichever one you choose, you're going to be very lucky. But for versatility and for reference, I choose this. For romanticism, I would choose RedOctober. And for something where I just want one rather than this and RedOctober, because you would have to have two things to balance each other out. If you fancy something at the end of the spectrum, you either buy Lampezzata to tube roll the DAC, or buy RedOctober or Envi, or Cayin, to be fair. But I think the Cayin KT170HA I heard at Munich has got a lot to say, so it's going to be fun putting these two up against each other. That, I think, might even be quicker than this for electronic music. The way it controlled drivers, it sounded like HM1. That was insane. So with that, should you buy this? Hell yes. This, if you can afford it, is going to be the amp that will last a lifetime. So send your kid to school and college, or buy this. Take your pick. I don't know, put your kid on eBay and buy this. It's up to you. If you like reviews such as this, and if you want impressions before YouTube, and if you want to see early reviews before YouTube, you get access to the private Telegram chat, consider joining Patreon. All of your support to the channel goes towards shipping these units in and out and paying custom fees for these units to go in and out and back out again, and to sustaining the channel for our editors and cameraman, etc. If not, your like, your share, your comments down below, and your distribution of our content on all social media, if you have a mind, and if it's relevant to your people's environment that you're in, please share. And I'll see you in the comment section down below. Until the next one. Peace.